Good Tuesday evening, and thanks so much for joining us tonight on Unscripted at 6:30. A pretty interesting day weather-wise. We'll call it a fun weather day, I guess, because we saw some variety in the weather. So some ongoing snow showers in some areas, and then also some sunshine in others. So kind of a weird day, but it was cold all across northern Michigan. And Joe, you mentioned yesterday, we will be seeing a warm-up later on this week. I certainly cannot wait for that. But before then, what does our Wednesday look like?
Yeah, well, I think kind of clouding back up again, but not anything bad like coming in.
Okay.
So, you might dodge a rain or snow shower still tomorrow even on Wednesday, but it's nothing that's going to really add up or accumulate a whole lot. So we don't have any big storms or anything like that coming in. And as you pointed out, Maya, there is a warm-up coming in too. I feel like we've been talking about that for like weeks now, but there is, believe me, it's on the way as we get into the weekend. So we'll take a look at just how warm it's going to get and look at Wednesday coming up a little later.
Okay, thanks so much, Joe. We have an update tonight on a story we first shared with you back in October. Unfortunately, it is a pretty sad update. So you might recall Mighty Mac. Mighty Mac was a dog that was brought to Cherryland Humane Society in October. That's in Grand Traverse County after suffering from what the shelter calls abuse and neglect. Well, 6 months later, staff announced that Mac's health declined to a point where they have to say goodbye. Today, our Allie Baxter was at the shelter to talk with the staff and see Mighty Mac. And the staff there also pretty emotional this morning as they just learned this morning that the abuse case against Mighty Mac's owners was dismissed. So here is Allie with that full story.
Yes. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you.
It's been half a year since we first introduced you to Mighty Mac, a dog that, despite showing signs of severe abuse and neglect, appeared to be on the mend thanks to the team at Cherryland Humane Society.
Mostly comes down to he's unable to absorb nutrients. He can't keep food down.
Tia, an animal welfare and behavior manager, has been by Mac's side for months and has witnessed his ups and downs until it became undeniable that Mac's quality of life wouldn't improve.
We were beyond honored to have him in our lives.
As staff explain, the effects of abuse and neglect on animals like Mac are lifelong.
It's incredibly disappointing and frustrating that the work that has been done for these animals behind the scenes and the evidence that has been submitted, that there will be no justice or accountability and prevention for animals like Mac moving forward.
The couple accused of abusing and neglecting Mac and other animals now in Cherryland's care will not be charged for animal cruelty. In a statement, Grand Traverse County Prosecutor Kyle Atwood said there was insufficient proof who owned the animals and conflicting information regarding the cause of some of the animals' issues.
He's always in a sweater just because he came in at 23 pounds. He's about 33 pounds now, and he's supposed to be a 50-pound dog.
If this isn't like evidence of animal neglect, then I don't even know just what to say. What is?
It's
very frustrating.
Yeah, it's disheartening.
Staff hope that Mighty Mac's story will inspire others to get involved because they believe he's not getting the justice he deserves.
And I hope that the community can see that we need to make changes for when there are cases of animal neglect, that the people are held accountable, and so we can put a stop to it because it's just not fair.
Well, this is just absolutely heartbreaking, and Allie is joining us live now from our content center for more on this very sad update. And Allie, we know that Mighty Mac has been at the shelter since October, so he never got adopted?
No, he didn't. And in fact, Maya, if you remember, we did actually feature him during our adoption options one day when staff felt that he was ready to have and find a new home. And then they said pretty much after that, his health just rapidly declined.
And so at this point, I know the shelter staff aren't asking for anyone to adopt him, but is there anything that the community can do to help? I noticed at the end of your story, you could see a little bucket list of things that he wants to do.
Yeah, he has a bucket list, and I did ask if this is something that the community can get involved in. They said that really it's just a thing for staff right now, just because they know it is Mighty Mac's last week. So there's a couple different things he wants to do or that they believe that he wants to do, like eating chocolate, having a pup cup, leading a staff meeting. They say he loves driving around, so they want to drive around at night with him as well. And that's what they're going to focus on this week. And they just want to thank the community for their support during this whole time. They said he was a really big aspect for them on Giving Tuesday, because so many people know of Mighty Mac. They've connected with his story. And so they just say thank you so much to the community for how they've supported them both financially and emotionally throughout Mighty Mac's journey.
And I think one of the silver linings of this story is you could tell in your story just how much the shelter staff love and care for him. And, you know, we've done a lot of stories with Cherryland Humane Society, and we know a lot of their staff members, and they really do just care so deeply about their dogs and other animals. So at least we know that Mighty Mac is in good hands right now.
Yeah, and he's been in the best hands the whole time. You could see just how emotional it was for Tia. She's one of the behavior managers there and the animal welfare staff member. And she just was, you know, it was a very emotional thing for her. And I told her, you know, you've worked with Mighty Mac for the last 6 months of his life, and just getting him to this point, I imagine this is a very emotional moment for you. They said they have really considered everything. They consulted 6 different vets and specialists trying to figure out if this was the right decision. And they said ultimately that his quality of life just hasn't improved, and they don't want to continue to put him through this life if it's not one of quality.
Sure. And it sounds like maybe at first when the shelter got him, his quality of life was starting to improve. We heard in your story that he went from, I think you said like 23 pounds to maybe 33. So at first he was able to eat and start to maybe build some strength back. And it just sounds like that kind of came to an end.
Yeah, basically he can't absorb any nutrients. They say they try to feed him blended food around 6 times a day, and most of the time he just can't keep that food down. And so he doesn't have the nutrients he needs to gain any of that weight back, to be the strong boy that they want him to be.
It's so sad. And doesn't Mighty Mac have some siblings that were also taken from a house?
He does. At the time, this case involved a couple of different dogs, a cat, and a bearded dragon as well. And I don't know the update or the status on all of those animals, but I do know that they are with Cherryland Humane Society still, and that they have not gone back into the household that they were taken from. And they will not either. I did confirm that with the prosecutor today.
We also kind of heard from shelter staff in your story some of the messages that they hope Mac's story gets across to the community. Can you just kind of reiterate that? What are they hoping that people can learn from this sweet boy?
Yeah, they're hoping that people really take note of this situation. And, you know, obviously a big piece of this story is that charges were not issued for this animal cruelty case. And that was for a variety of reasons, like mentioned in the story, where the prosecutor just felt like there was insufficient evidence in some places to bring this to a jury trial. So they really just emphasize with the community that if you feel like this wasn't the right decision that was made, or if you don't agree with it, that get involved in those issues legislatively, because this obviously isn't the first animal abuse or neglect case that has come up in Grand Traverse County or Northern Michigan in general. So if this is something that bothers you, it's something that needs to be addressed on the legislative level.
Sure. Is there anything else, Allie, that you want to mention about Mighty Mac's story?
Yeah, actually, I just got an email because I reached out to Grand Traverse County Animal Control as well, and they were really instrumental in the beginning of getting Mighty Mac and his siblings out of the house. So I did want to share what I was able to get from them. This is an unscripted exclusive here. We've got the Grand Traverse Animal Control Division is deeply saddened by the news of Mighty Mac's diagnosis. Our department remains committed to working closely with the prosecutor's office, the sheriff's office, veterinary professionals, and the community to investigate animal welfare concerns and to advocate for responsible pet ownership. So that is what the Animal Control Division is sharing with us tonight.
Well, thank you so much for that update, Allie, and for joining us and sharing Mighty Mac's story with us. We really appreciate it. And we have another update to share with you. This one a little less sad. This one's out of Sheboygan. Work on a major development in Sheboygan has been suspended due to a lawsuit against the developers, the seller, and the city. So it is the latest in a series of twists at the former tissue plant, which, if you recall, we covered this quite a bit a couple years ago. Tissue Depot, it burned down in Sheboygan. So UpNorthLive's Daniel Zivian spoke to both sides of this case.
Phase 1 of Sheboygan Commons was supposed to break ground this spring, with 46 homes being built on the site of a burned-down warehouse. Now,
We have completely paused and taken a large step back. We have no interest in starting such a great project for the community that's so complex from a courtroom.
According to court documents, the lawsuit comes from Sheboygan Hydro Services, a company that operated the hydroelectric dam behind the plant. In the suit, Sheboygan Hydro claims its eviction by owner Thomas Homco was unlawful and that the equipment belongs to the company outright.
We've tried to engage Sheboygan Commons and Homco in discussions, and really nothing more than, hey guys, we have this lease. We also own the equipment. We don't want to stop your development. We think that's great, but we also think what's great for the community is clean energy, and we just want to make sure the two exist in harmony. And they absolutely failed. They just didn't, they literally didn't respond.
The lawsuit also includes the city of Sheboygan, claiming the city has unlawfully rezoned and approved development for the property.
We were led to believe that there weren't any leases that were associated with this property, so it's a bit of a surprise. And really, the biggest concern we have is that time really is not going to work to the site's advantage. It's going to continue, in our opinion, to increasingly be a dangerous site, a danger to public health and safety, a danger to the environment.
Lang says Eagle is already doing preliminary environmental testing at the warehouse site. She says the defendants have until April 16th to respond to the complaint. In Sheboygan, Daniel Zivian, UpNorthLive News.
And we will continue to keep you updated on that story as we learn more information. Well, we are continuing to follow the aftermath of last weekend's ice storms that, of course, just impacted so many people across northern Michigan and also left a lot of students and teachers out of school for, if not several days, an entire week. And now we're learning that Otsego County, some schools in Otsego County will soon be back in session. So students at Vanderbilt are going back tomorrow after being out since before spring break. Now, the superintendent says the ice storm knocked out power, water, and the school had no Wi-Fi or phone service, all of which had to be restored. We are told that school bus drivers did drive routes today, and they determined that roads were clear for students to be safely picked up. Now, parts of Vanderbilt area will still remain without power, but the school hopes that by bringing students back, that'll kind of help restore some sort of normalcy.
This has been pretty traumatic for for community, and it gives a chance for people to see their friends. I want to have education and stuff. All the kids will learn things, but I'm also socially and emotionally get everyone back to a little bit of normalcy.
And the superintendent says in total, the school has used roughly 22 snow days so far, and that includes those after the ice storm. He says state representatives are working on new legislation to forgive those days, but right now it remains unknown if schools will have to extend the year. And we know that some school districts across northern Michigan already had to extend their school year out a little longer because of all the snow days that have happened this year. So we will be sure to keep an update on different school districts and, if state legislatures can do something so students don't have to make up these school days. And we will keep you updated on that. But let's take a look at our question of the day related to this story. So what do you think about this? Do you think schools should have to make up days that they missed due to the ice storm? Scan the QR code on your screen right now. That'll take you to our website where you can vote. It looks like right now we have 501 votes, and majority of voters are saying no, they do not think schools should have to make up these days. And we also have a lot of comments on our Facebook page. Last check, we had about 260. So at the end of the show, I always take a look at the updated live results and read a few of your comments. So if you do have something you want to share related to our question of the day, you can head over to our Facebook page and leave a comment on our question of the day post, or find this live stream right now on Facebook, YouTube, or X, and you can leave a comment there, and I will look at those towards the end of the show. Let's take a quick break, but coming up next, Joe will have much more on your forecast for the rest of the work week, including that warm-up that we've been talking about and all looking forward to for a while now. That's next.
I'm Jada Johnson from Big Boys TV, and the Fish and Game Report is sponsored by Johnson's Propane.
Some lake effect snow just really sticking around in northern Michigan, and we are in April now, and I know a lot of us are probably sick and tired of this winter weather and some snow and looking forward to more sunny, warmer days. And Joe, we're not thinking anything too crazy. Like, I don't want to get carried away and look forward to 60s and 70s, but just like a nice 50-degree day.
Dream.
I can dream, but I'm just trying to be realistic. I just need like 50 degrees and a little sunshine, and I'm content.
Well, that's good to know. Yeah, you can dream big, though.
Okay.
Yeah. I can get you probably some 50s, maybe a few 60s by the weekend.
Perfect. I'm glad I asked.
Well, yeah. I woke up this morning. I walked out and got my coffee, and it was beautiful sunshine. Yeah. Then I got busy doing a few things, and I walked back out, and it was like a whiteout with some snow earlier today. Let's go to Houghton Lake. A live look there right now, and in the distance, a few lake effect clouds still. They're over Roscommon County. Now we are in the final, hour, literally here, of lake effect snow for parts of northern Michigan. We do have another system that's going to come in tomorrow, even into part of Thursday. I don't think it'll be a huge issue, though. We'll start with the snow. There it is. Some of the lake effect snow dwindling down. We'll get a little wedge of clearing in here tonight. So I think, later this evening, the stars will be out. We mentioned Houghton Lake. There it is. You can see Houghton Lake right there. And that's where we had a few lake effect snow showers, but those again are coming to an end. But it was another chilly day today, especially for this time of the year. These are the departure from normal, the significant, how far we are from normal, I should say. And several spots today 10 to almost 20 degrees below what we should have this time of the year. High pressure sits over Indiana tonight, so that'll keep it quiet for the time being. Out west, though, we have another area of low pressure. The majority of that system is going to pass south of the Great Lakes, but will be close enough for maybe a little bit of rain and snow to kind of mix in. So here's what we think will happen. We clear things out tonight by midnight, lots of stars for a while, and then we cloud right back up in the morning. And then tomorrow, maybe a chance in the morning, but a little better chance right there in the afternoon for a few rain and snow showers. So that's midday tomorrow, generally in the lower peninsula. If you're up in the UP, I don't think you're going to see as much up that way. And then our southern counties could see a little rain and snow early Thursday as that low pressure system passes by. But then we head into Friday, and look at this. Beautiful. Some sunshine Friday afternoon. It's going to be a nice one. If you're wondering about that chance for snow, yeah, pretty unremarkable. An inch or less for any one area. We talked about that warm-up that Maya is hoping for. 50s, a few 60s heading into the weekend. And that'll pair up with a little bit of sunshine. Notice our chances for sun will peak on Friday and Saturday. So not bad as we look ahead there. Here is our extended forecast. Again, it's going to be a little bit of a slow climb up. 40s Thursday, 40s Friday, 50s Saturday, and then 50s, maybe a few 60s going into the weekend. By the way, one more note on the weekend. Saturday, nice. Might be a little warmer Sunday, but Sunday looks kind of cloudy with a few showers.
So Saturday might be the best day to get outside.
Especially for outside, yeah.
All right. Thank you, Joe. Straight ahead, we are going to bring in sports director Harrison Beebe. He'll get you caught up on all the top sports stories. Stick with us. We are continuing to highlight local athletes who are being recognized for all of their hard work and talents. Let's bring in sports director Harrison Beebe for more on the athletes being recognized today. Harrison.
Yeah, Maya, to be honest, it's pretty rare that we get player of the year candidates for their specific sports at the all-state level. And this year for girls basketball, we have two. Yesterday, we touched on Mayo's Mia McGregor being player of the year for Division IV. And at Harbor Springs, Olivia Flynn can claim that same title now for Division III. And it's not a shock to us. We knew she was a pretty big deal last year, and she made a commitment in the offseason to play for Western Michigan. So she'll be in Division I college hoops next year. And she had a great season with the Rams, scoring over 2,000 points for her career. This is some of her highlights we gathered throughout her senior season. They fell short of their goal of making a deep tournament run to the state semifinals of the Breslin, but still a great year by Flynn and her teammates, and definitely worthy of being named player of the year in Division III. Let's go ahead and take a look now at other area girls who made Division III All-State. She's joined on first team by Kyra Gray of Everett, and then we've got three second-teamers there. We got Aubrey Hiller from Manton, June Kirkpatrick of East Jordan, and Mallory Miller from Mason County Central. So, like Division IV, a lot of good representation in Division III with a lot of area teams from Division III from our area here in Northern Michigan. So big congrats to those ladies on being named All-State.
Absolutely. That's a huge accomplishment. So, Harrison, we've talked about Division IV and Division III players. Will we hear more about Division II and I in the coming days?
2 and 1, although as I just referenced, a lot of area teams are in the Division 4 and 3 ranks, so it'll be a little tougher to see some names pop up there, but we'll wait and see. That's up to the media. I'm not included in that vote to determine All-State, maybe one day if I keep working hard. But yeah, that information will be rolled out Division 2 tomorrow and Division 1 on Thursday. Maybe we'll see if we get a few of area girls popping up in that All-State naming.
All right, Harrison, we'll never give up on your dreams. You can do
my dream
anything.
to be named All-State Voting Committee. Yes.
It's quite the honor.
Somebody's got to have it.
Right.
Real quick, Maya, for 11, Tigers are 5-0 winners over the Yankees today, 5-0 at home. First time since 1993 they've started 5-0 at home. So big deal there so far for the Tigers.
Promising start for the Tigers. All right, Harrison, thanks so much. We are running out of time, so we're going to take another break, but we'll check in with the live results for our question of the day straight ahead.
Salon services are furnished by Epiphany Advanced Academy in East Acme.
After the ice storm across northern Michigan, many schools were forced to close for several days. Some schools are still closed, and a lot of schools went over their allotted amount of absences allowed. So we want to know if you think schools should have to make up the days they miss due to ice storms. 70% say no. 30% say yes. A lot of comments on Facebook say no because it was a state of emergency. But as we mentioned earlier, we know in Otsego County at Vanderbilt Area School, they have had 22 snow days. That includes all the school missed because of the ice storm. And the superintendent there says they are talking with state representatives to try to work on new legislation to forgive those days. But right now, that is still up in the air. So we will continue to provide updates once we learn more. That'll do it for Unscripted tonight. Thanks for joining us. We hope to see you back here at 11 o'clock.